High kick. Goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher. Shot score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First high kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First high kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First high kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First high kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First high kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First high kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First try kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First try kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First try kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First try kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First try kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First try kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First try kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In, and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Let's try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In, and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score! Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Fans Only Sports Network's live broadcast of Division I hockey here in the state of Rhode Island. Game 2 of the quarterfinal series between the Mount St. Charles Mounties and the LaSalle Academy Rams from Adelard Arena here in Woonsocket, Rhode Island at Mount St. Charles Academy. I'm your play-by-play commentator, Chris Hetu, taking you through every shot on goal, every save on net, and every second of every minute of every sequence of this game. Once again, from Adelard Arena, the Mount St. Charles Mounties take on the LaSalle Academy Rams. LaSalle Academy Rams have a 1-0 lead in the quarterfinal series in a best-of-3. Last night, the game took place in Smithfield at Smithfield Municipal Ice Rink, where the Rams solemnly defeated the Mount St. Charles Mounties in a complete blowout. Final score was 9-2. For LaSalle, a win tonight means they've punched their ticket to Schneider Arena to participate in the semifinals round. And, of course, here for the Mounties, elimination on the brink for them as they look to at least hold on for dear life and somehow push this game to a Game 3 that would potentially take place on Monday if that were to happen. And it is, of course, still on the table. But the Rams, being the number 2 seed in the state of Rhode Island, they look to move on in this playoff series. Of course, other games to be played. Prout versus Cumberland tonight. Prout with a 1-0 lead in that series. Unfortunately, we are unable to have any coverage on that game. And we apologize for all viewers who are looking forward to tuning into that one. And of course, Burrville taking on Warwick currently. So a lot up in the air to see who will play in the semifinals. So we'll take our attention to the right side to introduce the LaSalle Academy Rams. Number 8, Ronan Peterson. At forward, number 17, that's Matt Baxter. The 20 of Cam Tasca. Number 4, Paul Bogosian on defense. And the 15 of Marciello Martinelli. And starting in net tonight, the 31 of Caleb Johorgian. And so now we'll direct our attention to the home squad, the Mount St. Charles Mounties. The 12 of Colden Lawrence. Number 2, Harrison Dumas. The 10 of Antonio Lombari. The 23 of Luke Smolin. And the 25 of Tyler Carroll. And, of course, your starter in net tonight, Dylan Hanna, starting in net tonight. So now we'll direct our attention to the flag for the honoring of our national anthem. And with the slap of the stick on the ice, that means we are all set and ready to go from Adelard Arena here in Woonsocket, Rhode Island. But before we get started, we'll get a word from tonight's game sponsors. Quarterfinal matchups on Fans Only Sports Network are brought to you in part by Ray's Hockey Shop in Smithfield, Rhode Island, specializing in uniforms and custom team apparel, all done in-house in Smithfield, Rhode Island. Call 401-231-1995 or go to ray@rayshockey.com for all your hockey needs. Premier Homes Realty in Cranston, Rhode Island. Stephanie Socia has been in the business for 20 years. Broker, owner, also a certified real estate appraiser, Spanish speaking, and covers Massachusetts properties as well. Questions, call 401-742-8971. And finally, by RR Elite Recruits. Go to rreliterecruits.com to get access to 3,000 schools and 60,000 coaches in NCAA sports. We have also added club hockey and prep academy coaches to our list, too. Fill out an athlete submission form today at rreliterecruits.com. That's your word from tonight's game sponsors. And with that, we are set and ready to go. Hitting center ice. Both teams ready here. LaSalle can move on to the semifinals with a win. Mount can push it to Game 3 with a win tonight. And the Mounties take the face-off. This one dumped down as Bogosian takes it. And the feed up front for Baxter. Matt Baxter trying to get the play set for Tasca. Dylan Hanna reaches out to try and make the save as it's pushed to the far end board. On that far side, Mounties and Rams fight for possession before Dumas pushes it past the neutral zone. Martinelli trying to push away Lawrence. And Bogosian comes in to help him out. Bogosian up through center. Paul Bogosian takes the chance wide right of the net. It'll come back to the near. Peterson sends it around the backside before it's met by Dumas. And it'll come back up to center as Bogosian dumps it back in off the backhand. And we get a whistle icing the call with 14:10 to go in the start of the first period. So LaSalle won last night's game 9-2 to open the series. This is a very volatile squad, and once it gets going, they cook like no other team in the state of Rhode Island. On that back end, it's wrapped around to the far side as Bradley takes it up. Of course, a team that's already punched its ticket into the semifinals is the Bishop Hendricken Hawks. The 2-0 sweep over the Barrington Eagles. A 3-0 win last night and a 9-0 win today in Barrington. Or at least in Portsmouth, I should say. Bradley trying to find it, and he's pushed off to the far end. Puck bouncing off the back end of the boards. So, of course, if the Rams make it to the semifinals, they'll be playing a lower seed just like Bishop Hendricken. And we'll see who will be the victor. At the top of the zone, that one off from Frateschi. And it comes to that near side. As now it's pushed back up by Cam Souza. Dumped in by Slack. And Georgian giving it off now for Garfalo. Garfalo all the way up. It passes Big Tree Bradley. And this one coming off of Lawrence's stick. And we get an icing call. A packed house here tonight from Adelard. Crowd really in full swing. You can't see this LaSalle side as we're sitting on. That home side, the Mounties, very much a highly populated area. On the face-off, it's pushed back to the blue line, but kept onside by Martinelli. Trying to send it downhill that time for the 16 of Riley Brown. On the backside of the cage, it's pushed to the near side. And given up front for Lombari. Antonio Lombari has the stick removed on the hit. And taken away by Martinelli. Off the back of the net, Dumas to stop it. Keeps it in play for the Mounties. Martinelli around the back that time for Mora. Devin Mora. Now the give off for Brown. And the feed to Martinelli. Martinelli takes the chance off of Hanna. Back of the net. Shot. Score! Riley Brown puts the Rams up first. It didn't take long But the LaSalle Rams break through first on the scoreboard off the back of Riley Brown. And the score now 1-0 LaSalle. Mounties really had to backtrack there. Just a great movement from Martinelli, bringing it into the zone, getting the setup off the rebound, that time for Brown. That's center ice. Bradley will take possession as he sends it downhill. Off the backboard. Dumped in around the backside of the cage that time by the 22 of Blake Santos. There to try to assist is Pacheco, Connor Pacheco. And now Garfalo right into the glove of Hannah. Now the face-off on that left-hand side. At the top of the blue line, Garfalo. Hannah will glove it up again. Off the face-off. Puck still displaced on the near side. And past Bogosian as it comes back to center. Garfalo backhanding it to lead Peterson. Pushed back up front that time by Smolin. At center, Tasca crossing the blue line for LaSalle. This one hitting the protective netting on the shot. And that'll stop play. And after the face-off, stopped by Mora. Mora sending it down, and it's deflected away. The defense trying to lead it forward from Carroll. Mora back to center. Smolin with the stop. Sending it over towards the visiting bench. Trying to keep it in play to get Nathan Murray prepared. But Mora will end up with possession for LaSalle again. Peterson will tip it into the zone. Carroll with Peterson checking him into the board. And a delayed penalty coming. And here it is. A high stick. So that time, the 20 of Cam Tasca will head to the penalty box for the next 2 minutes. And we'll get a face-off on the LaSalle side of the ice as the Mounties get the power play. Stopped at the blue line. Lawrence with the poke in. Lombari on the near side. Lombari takes the chance off of Georgian, and the Rams poke it back up through center. Hannah escapes right by him as he was trying to stop it for Smolin. In the zone, Bradley trying to box him out, giving some room for his own teammate, as that was Peterson. Behind the net, Smolin. The lead to Lawrence. Under a minute and a half to go on the power play. Colton Lawrence, he'll dump it in. Trying to get a lead for Slack. Slack sends it down in the slot, and the Rams clear it back to center. Bradley trying to gain the zone on Smolin on the short-handed try. Bradley, it's poked away, and Hannah will wisely glove this one up as he had Vinny Healy in the vicinity. Off the face-off. Dumas through center. Harrison Dumas as the puck poked back, and the Mounties will have to get back on side. Dumped in by Dumas. Garfalo that time, oh my goodness. Maxwell Rusov Nearly poked it past Georgian. Carroll at the top of the blue line, giving it to Dumas. Carroll bounces off defenders, clogging up the slot. Now on the far side, Carroll. Carroll to Dumas. Back to Carroll. Carroll winds up, bouncing off of Georgian. Rusov can't backhand it. Georgian somehow comes away with the save. Wow. 28 seconds to go. Now Jordan McIntyre and Kyle Smolin both check into the game. Or at least Smolin for now. McIntyre and Smolin were both ejected last night for fighting. And at the faceoff dot, wow, Lombari's rifle of a shot, gloved up and saved by Georgian. 9:41 to go in the first. LaSalle leads the affair so far, 1-0. Only 23 seconds to go on the penalty. Mounties looking for a quick score. Smolin to Lombari. Across ice for Lawrence. Lawrence, ooh, looked like it got misdirected on the shot, and it's pushed to the far end. Lawrence on the far end. Lawrence, a lot of pressure from Healy. Smolin rifles this one, bouncing off of Slack defensively, and the penalty comes to a conclusion. The Rams back to full strength. Lawrence trying to lead Slack. Morrow with a great check. Here comes Kyle Smolin. Pushed off the mark. Puck dangling right in front of the net. A backhanded try, and this one hits the protective netting, out of play. A lot of misdirection from these shots on net. And behind the net, on that far side, near. Both sides trying to push the puck loose. And it's taken behind the cage. Trying to move it forward. The 24 that time of Matt Franco. It's dumped in. Hanna trying to trap it. Nearly a costly mistake as Riley Brown was right there. And now Logan Lefebvre. That time to lead it over for Gregory Petit. On the backside, Lefebvre pushed hard on the boards by Frateski. And back at center, Souza, he'll dump it in. And leading Brown. Riley Brown trying to get ahead of the defense. And Petit there to make the stop as Souza will take it on that far end. Great redirect. And out to Lefebvre. Lefebvre cuts it with the deke into the middle. Passing the poke check. Lefebvre off of Georgian. And now on the near side. And we get a whistle. Stoppage of play. Because that time it was Jordan McIntyre. And now McIntyre's into the box again. So Logan Lefebvre in the box for interference. And Jordan McIntyre heading there for roughing. So each will serve 2 minutes, and it will remain 5-on-5. This one wide of the net. And on that far end, this one coming back into the near corner. Dumped around to the far side that time for Baxter. And a lead for Tasca. Tasca trying to gain the zone on Souza and icing the ultimate call. Quarterfinal matchups on Fans Only Sports are brought to you in part by Ray's Hockey Shop in Smithfield, Rhode Island. Call 401-231-1995 or go to Ray at rayshockey.com for all your hockey needs. Premier Homes Realty in Cranston, Rhode Island, in business for over 20 years, have real estate reach out in Massachusetts as well. Any questions, call 401-742-8971 to find yourself the home of your dreams. And of course, by our Elite Recruits, with access to 3,000 schools and 60,000 coaches across NCAA sports. Also, in addition, club, hockey, and prep academy coaches to the list. Fill out an athlete submission form today at rreliterecruits.com. Great glove save that time from Georgian as the shot went high, nearly above his head. And off the face-off draw. Garfalo wraps it around back to the near side. Carroll, he'll dump it back down. And back to center. And on that far end. Back to the near side at the top of the zone, Bogosian. And Hannah will glove it up and make the save. And the face-off. Sent back to center. Garfalo to that far end. Bradley. Big tree. Bradley right off of Dylan Hannah. Hannah somehow gloving it down as the puck went through the air. Drew, big tree. Bradley. Wow. Absolute unit he is out there on the floor. Nearly found himself a nice chance on net. 6:41 to go in the first. LaSalle still up 1-0 over Mount St. Charles. 6:41 to go. And we'll face off in the LaSalle side of the ice. Peterson through center, trying to gain the zone. Souza with the takeaway off the back check. Lawrence up there, and now on the far end. Peterson, Baxter, pushed back to that far board. Peterson to Frateski. In the center lane, Baxter couldn't wind up in time as the puck was displaced through the air. And now Martinelli to Frateski. Baxter bringing it in, and Smolin brings it back up to center. Peterson, Dumas now with the takeaway for Mount St. Charles. Trying to gain the zone around Martinelli. What a hit. And now Frateski to the near side. And that one a little wide of the net that time off of Nate Murray. And here come the Rams. Martinelli just handling the puck as Lombari gives it up that time. Lombari, not much room to go. Oh my goodness, Murray was right in the area with slack. Neither were able to extend on the opportunity. Baxter, boxed out by Lombari, who pushes him to the floor, and Carroll will gain the advantage on that near side. Carroll, not many of teammates to pass it to. He does get it to Smolin. This one tipped into the zone off of Georgian, who will make the wise decision to stop the play. Another face-off coming here on the right-hand side of the LaSalle end of the ice. Once again, if the Rams win tonight, they will clinch a semifinals berth and head to Schneider Arena. For the Mounties, a win tonight will push this game to Game 3 in Smithfield. Rams obviously not wanting to let that happen, and the Mounties don't want this to happen with a loss tonight. Their season will effectively be over. On the near side, push back to center. Souza trying to set it back up to neutral ice, and he does so. Bogosian to Mora. Mora off the dump-in ricochet. Souza. Strong forecheck from the Rams as Bradley came right in. And it's led up front for Dumas. At center. That time the 22 of Santos. Blake Santos. Souza pushes it back the other way. Santos with the lead that time. And offside's called. That was Pacheco trying to bring it to the floor. And Rusov getting in at it with Drew Bradley. So we'll come back to center for another face-off. And at the neutral floor. To the far end, Mora. It's dumped in that time. That was Frateski. Hannah came right out of the net that time. That was dangerous positioning. Frateski, this shot ricocheting over the top. Carroll to the far end. Rusov trying to lead it forward that time. Lefebvre getting tied up. Pushed back to the neutral floor. Brought down right in front. A good chance right off of Hannah. The shot came from Matt Franco. And, a hard hit that was hit so hard on that home door. The door came right open. Franco sends it back to Hannah, who makes the save. And some late extracurriculars once the play was over. Both these teams really getting out of it. Of course, the energy's high, because it is the postseason, and not only that, both these teams just had an altercation last night that resulted in the 9 of Kyle Smolin and the 23 of Jordan McIntyre getting ejected. McIntyre is active. Bradley takes the shot. This one off the far end board. Slack to stop it down, and Bogosian will push it forward. Lombari, a lot of snow built up against his bench, and gives room for the takeaway to give it up for Jack Potter. Knocked away by Murray. Lombari sends this one off the protective glass. On the near side, this one wrapped around to Bogosian. Bogosian to Bradley, and a nice lead for Vinny Healy. Healy off of the defender that time. And now Murphy. Seamus Murphy. It's deflected back through center, and it's going to come all the way back down. And it'll still be in play. Bogosian. A nice little head movement on Dumas as he takes it up front. Bradley, whiffed on the pass intended for likely Healy. Martinelli. Marciello Martinelli with the lead that time for Murphy. Murphy had to slow down as he dumps it back in. Lost his footing, and Carroll takes it away for Mount as he gives it to Smolin. Luke Smolin. That time for Carroll. Back to Smolin. Now the lead up front as Kyle Smolin dumps it to center. Jordan McIntyre here. McIntyre. The lead for Bradley, and it comes all the way back through center. Carroll trying to gain the zone away from Tasca. Tasca on his tail. Carroll through center. Carroll trying to bob and weave, and Baxter will come in as the Rams handled that defensive effort perfectly. And it's just a back and forth. Mora. Devin Mora. Mora backhanding it towards Hannah, and the save. Chance in front, and Smolin was there as Tasca was in the vicinity on that left wing side, but he's tied up. Rusov to push it away as Mora gives it off to Tasca again. Tasca onside on the blue line. He'll push it back downhill. Tasca trying to give it to Peterson. Puck displaced as all players are just seeming to dig a moat on those boards. Baxter taken away now by Mount. Petit with the dump in. And we get a whistle. Icing going to be the call. It's been a tough back and forth tonight, but definitely a very entertaining game to say the least, ladies and gentlemen. And off the face-off. Puck pushed back towards center ice. Smolin trying to lead Slack Garfalo, trying to get the takeaway. Murray, Slack, Horgen moving it to the far board. Now stopped at the blue line. Smolin with the dump in, over to Slack. Slack trying to get away that time from Garfalo. Frateski wrapping it around for the 10 of Bowden Topka. He's checked hard. Another hard open ice hit. And it's sent back the other way for Carroll. Mounties will get reset. And back, Riley Brown will dump it in with under a minute to go. Smolin. Now Tomka. And this puck displaced as it sails through the air. Murray getting tied up. Puck in front of the net that time for the 24 of Matt Franco. Trying to feed it to him was Tomka. And he'll come back up to center. Bogosian back out on the floor. He'll send it right at Hannah. And Hannah opts to keep it in play. And a little too much of a lead. Icing going to be the call. 26 seconds to go in the first. 1-0 the score so far as the LaSalle Academy Rams lead the Mount St. Charles Mounties. Game 2 of the quarterfinal series. Winner will move on to the state semifinals next weekend. Taken behind the backside of the cage by Jack Potter. Potter pushed up against there. Healy, Bogosian, Martinelli. Martinelli cutting it deeper into the territory. Martinelli trying to gain some movement. Potter and now Souza, or Smolin in this case. Time running out on the first. Taken behind the cage of Hannah. And that'll do it for the first period. Your score, 1-0, as LaSalle leads Mount St. Charles to open things up after one period of action. We'll be back in just a few moments as both teams talk things over for the start of the second period right here on Fans Only Sports Network. The ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
The ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
The ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off.
Back for the start of the second period. The score 1-0 LaSalle as we open things up, and that'll stop things rather quickly as we get an icing call. Bogosian sends it back up towards center. It's dumped back all the way to Hannah, and Hannah makes the wise choice to stop play. Now for the face-off on the right-hand side. Back in the thick of things on the near side. At center ice, it's dumped all the way back down. Bogosian to meet it first. Wow, comes all the way back downhill. And we'll do it all over again, icing. Quarterfinal matchups on Fans Only Sports Network are brought to you in part by Ray's Hockey Shop in Smithfield, Rhode Island. For any type of specialization and use of uniforms, custom team apparel, call 401-231-1995 or go to Ray at rayshockey.com for all your hockey needs. Premier Homes Realty in Cranston, Rhode Island. Stephanie Socia has been in the business for 20 years and can help you with your realty. Spanish-speaking and covers Massachusetts properties as well. Call 401-742-8971 for more information. And then by RR Elite Recruits, with access to 3,000 schools and 60,000 coaches across NCAA sports. For high school athletes looking to play at the next level, fill out an athlete submission form today at rreliterecruits.com. Behind the net after a very nasty hit earlier. Back to the near side. This one's sent way too far down the other way, and we'll do it all over again. Icing the call on the floor with 13:56 to go. The Mounties keeping themselves alive, even with the strong Rams attack occurring. They're just able to keep the puck at least somewhat of a balance to prevent it from entering their own side of the ice, but they're going to have to maximize on offensive possession from here on out. A chance in front of the net, nearly knocked in behind Hannah, and on that far end. Frateski trying to play some keep away. Souza, the wraparound to Smolin. Bradley pushes him into the boards. Healy trying to move the puck loose away from Souza. Around the back, Healy pushed back the other way. Bradley now over to the near side that time for Seamus Murphy. Puck still on the near end. Bradley in the center lane, whiffs on the chance, and he'll send it on down for Garfalo. That one gloved up by Hannah in net. $13:15 to go in the second. The score of 1-0 LaSalle Academy over Mount St. Charles Academy. On that far side, Lefebvre pushes it back to center. Garfalo back to the near side, and it's dumped in off of Bowden Tomka. Smolin intercepted by Tomka. Tomka into the protective netting, out of play again. 13 solid minutes to go in the second. This is still anyone's game, even though it's a one-goal advantage by LaSalle. But the Mounties are really going to have to turn it up now, as it's just been all LaSalle pushing this puck offensively down their throats. Smolin. Back to the near side. Stuck there as that time the 24 of Matt Franco lost his stick. And it's given up towards Carroll. Taken away by Brown. Riley Brown, who had the goal earlier, takes the chance. Oh, it hit the net, but the side of it still in play. Tomka goes right past Garfalo. This is not going to be, or it is going to be icing, surprisingly. So we'll do it all over again. Under 12 and a half to go now as we get set for another face-off following the icing. The far end board. Tasca trying to lead it that time, and he had Peterson, and Georgian will stop it for Mora. Peterson got a little too tied up in the slot, was unable to come up with it. Tasca. The nice lead, Peterson, wow, off of the backhand glass. And on the near side, trying to escape the zone, but the Rams keep pressuring it. Dumas gets it back to center. McIntyre trying to feed Mora. Back through center, down the other way as Hannah will stop it for Souza. Baxter on his tail. And we get a delayed penalty called. It's going to be a hold. So Matt Baxter going to hit the penalty box for LaSalle. They'll lose a man, and Mount St. Charles will go on the power play for a holding call against Matt Baxter. The perfect opportunity for the Mounties to even the affair at one apiece, and whistle called as that was too early of a start. That far side, Bradley shuffles it back to the neutral zone, trying to gain a vantage point to get a second hand. Wow. Bradley nearly getting himself a short-handed goal off of Dylan Hannah. But ultimately a great save there. So we'll face off on the Mountie side of the floor. 1:50 to go on the power play, and counting. Bradley, and taken away. Lawrence giving it up to Smolin. Smolin cuts it to the middle lane, and it's poked off by Martinelli. Lawrence in the corner, pushes it behind the back of the cage. Lawrence giving it up to Smolin. Smolin. Lombari back to Smolin. And to Lawrence as it was tipped. Lawrence. Lombari. Lombari takes the chance. It's over the top. On the near side. Wrapped around Slack. Giving it back to Kyle Smolin. Smolin. Cuts it to the center lane. Slack shot. Score! The Mounties even it up with a power play goal. Brandon Slack evens the game up at 1 apiece as he found that backdoor side of Caleb Georgian. And the Mounties get back in this one to even it up. It's a great setup there. The Mounties were patient. They moved the puck efficiently until they could find that hole in the center lane. And Brandon Slack took full advantage. Following the faceoff, Slack will take it again. Slack sends it right at Georgian. Frateski around the back to the far side. Puck displaced as Slack tries to gain advantage past Garfalo. Frateski to Baxter. Baxter, the lead to center as Lombari sends it back the opposite way. A good chance for Murray, trying to lead Slack wide on the play to set up the one-timer, and Carroll couldn't keep it in. Carroll keeps it in the zone. Lombari, Slack, puck displaced as it just flies through the air. Tasca trying to get a hold of it. He'll finally get it to Baxter at center. Here come the Rams. Baxter, puck ricocheting behind his back. And the Mounties behind the cage give it back to Smolin. Tomka rifled over the top for Teske. Shot, score! It didn't take long, but Ronan Peterson in under 40 seconds off the deflection of the shot from Mark Frateski knocks it into the back of the net to give the Rams the lead once again. Score now 2-1. At center. This one taken in immediately by the Mounties, trying to answer back quickly. Smolin bouncing it off the boards. Smolin. And back up towards center. That time Potter trying to push it back the opposite way. Hanna stopping it for Potter, giving it over to Souza. And now Smolin. Smolin trying to give it back up to center. And Tomka called offsides. As that time it looked like Matt Franco had crossed the blue line a little too early. About under 9.5 to go in the second. This game's very tight and contested so far. Souza flips this one through the air as Mora tries to take it down. Rusov nearly taking it away, and Lefebvre touched it as Rusov couldn't come back over the blue line in time. Another offsides. On that far side, Bogosian trying to box out a man. Lefebvre. Now this time the 19 of Seamus Murphy. Going behind the cage. Bogosian trying to give it up to Bradley. Bogosian. Bogosian through center. Paul Bogosian. A nice little move. And rifled off of Hanna that time. Didn't see who took the chance. And this one, Martinelli's going to have to retreat after it with Rusov on his tail. A nice redirect on the deke. And that time, the 19 of Murphy trying to get in on it. On the backside, Bogosian. While the Mounties get a line change, Bogosian to Bradley. Bradley, it's tipped in the air, nearly in front of the net. Slack trying again. Johorgian, and that'll stop the play with the save. The net came off the moorings. And off the face-off. The Rams take it in as Garfalo sends it a little past for Teskey on that far board. Back to center. Smolin deflecting it off the glass. Tasca boxed out, and we get a whistle to call the play dead. And we'll face off on that right side. Garfalo off the glass, back to center. At the top of the zone, Carroll over the top of the net on the chance. Pushing the puck back up, Baxter. Peterson sends it all the way down. Carroll with Tasca on his tail. Tyler Carroll. Tasca with the takeaway, Lombari! And that time, Peterson was sneaking in behind him. Could have had himself a nice chance in front of the net. Puck pushed down to the floor. We'll come back the opposite way. Garfalo with slack in his face, giving it to Baxter. Baxter. Matt Baxter. It's deflected off of the poke check from Smolin. Teskey with the dump in. LaSalle gets a line change. This one's set up front. Dump back into the zone by Baxter. And he'll take it as it's pushed back to neutral floor. Poked away by Lawrence. Colden Lawrence. And whiffed on the chance. He didn't have an open lane. Wrapped around back to the near side. And that time Potter dumps it back in. Mora. Devin Mora off the boards for Tasca. And sent back down again by Souza. Lawrence on the near side. Mora. Souza with the dump in again. Lawrence pushes past Mora. Trying to get the setup, and Johorgian. He'll come down with it. Just about 6.5 to go here in the second period of action. On that near side. This one's pushed to the far side. Martinelli giving it off for Bogosian. Bogosian up to center, that time for Tomka. Tomka. Bowden Tomka. This one over the top to the far end. Bogosian will stop it before it crosses the blue line and dump it in. Brown. That time to Franco. Souza. And on the near side, they continue to fight for it. And Rusov through center ice. Rusov trying to gain the zone. Bogosian, this one's pushed. Lefebvre. Logan Lefebvre. This one hits off and out of play. 5:44 to go. LaSalle leading it 2-1 so far. And the face-off at center ice. Bradley. Puck's trapped up against that snow, up against the boards. Now back to the near side. Taken around the back side for Teskey. Or Murphy in this case. Bradley Whole lot of back and forth as neither side can come up with it. And it's taken all the way back down. Proteski trying to gain advantage on Slack. Slack trying to box him out. Murray, it's poked away. And through center. The 19 of Seamus Murphy. Murphy trying to gain around Carroll. Murphy looking for an open lane. Bradley is there with Garfalo. Garfalo into the glove of Dylan Hanna to make the save. So the winner of this one will face off against Prout or Cumberland in the semifinal round. Off the face-off. At the top shelf, Martinelli dumps it back down. Taken away that time by the 18 of Pacheco. This one over the top of the net. McIntyre on that near side. Neither side can seem to make the puck get loose, and we get an offsides call. And this one dumped all the way back down. Martinelli wrapped around to that far end. Pacheco back to center, an open ice hit. And we're going to get a penalty on that one. Souza was absolutely rocked that time. And that's going to charge Blake Santos with the penalty. And it looks like it's going to be a roughing call. So the Mounties were able to get a power play goal last time. We'll see if they can replicate that magic once again to even the affair. They haven't been able to score with 5-on-5, so they'll have to take full advantage of this down-a-man opportunity. Trying to get a chance on Johorgian. The whole left side was exposed and nobody was there, and the Rams take advantage to dump it away. Smolin behind the net, leading it up on the near side to center. And taken away back on the Mountain East side of the ice. Lawrence sends this all the way to Johorgian, and he'll bring this back into the mitt to stop play with 1:34 to go on the power play. Taken off the face-off dot. The Rams clear it again. Patrolling all the way back down the other way. Smolin behind the cage of Hanna. The lead to Lombari. Lombari cutting back to give it to Smolin. They'll give it back to him. Lombari, he'll dump it in. Frateski wraps it all the way around past Lawrence. And the Rams do a good job of once again clearing this puck. Hanna letting Smolin take it out again. A minute to go on the power play. Lawrence trying to lead it up front for Souza, and the Rams make do once again and dump it away. Kyle Smolin, or Luke Smolin, with the lead to Lawrence. Getting some help that time from Kyle Smolin. Murray cutting it to the left side. Murray pushes it along the boards, and Bogosian will take it away as Murray comes off to the bench. And they'll clear it again with under 30 seconds to go on the penalty. Carroll on that near side. And Dumas, or Souza, to Lefebvre. Lefebvre being pushed off the mark by Bogosian, and Moore will play the takeaway and clear it back to center. And we get a whistle, a high stick call. And following the face-off. This one sent right in front of Hannah, and he'll stop it with 2:16 to go. Off the face-off, Mora. This one deflected off the defenders. Brown. Rams back to full strength once again. Slack on the left wing side. Sends it off of Georgian. Lombari whiffed on the chance as the puck was set up in prime positioning. Brown cutting it back to the middle lane. A delayed penalty called. It's going to go against Mount. Georgian pulled from the net. Rams will try and get something set, and we get the whistle. Another arm going up. 1:43 to go in the second. Mount going to be charged for a penalty. And the 10 of Antonio Lombari is going to hit the box as he's called for hooking. So this penalty is going to last into the third period unless LaSalle can score a goal prior to the end of the second. Perfect positioning for the Rams. Frateski got the pass under the legs that time from Bradley under Lefebvre. Frateski has the puck pushed to the boards. Healy trying to get the setup. And the Mounties, they'll clear it back to center ice. Lefebvre traps the puck up against that far end. A lot of pushing and shoving. Frateski all the way down to center. Underneath that time for Murphy. And a minute to go in the period. As Lawrence has it here. Lawrence, it hit the top of the post. It hit the crossbar and came back out. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen. You heard the clang from up here. A sigh of relief if you're a Rams fan right now. Oh my gosh. Lawrence keeping it in play. Another chance. Georgian. He'll make the save. Wow. What a crazy set of events that we're witnessing tonight. After a 9-2 win yesterday, it's not the result we've been expecting so far. It's a very tightly contested game and an entertaining one with that. So we'll face off on that right-hand side. Around the backside, Mora giving it to Martinelli. Marciello Martinelli. Through center, getting around Lawrence. Trying to gain the zone on Slack and Rusov. And Potter, and this one dumped away by Mount. Georgian, he'll stop it with 15 seconds to go. Clock winding down here in the second. This one dumped to center. Baxter under the legs. It was intended there. Dumas. And the whistle called offsides. Dumas did not let his man get back on in time with 3 seconds to go. So we'll face off at center ice for one last time before we hit the intermission. And this one poked into the Rams side. And that'll do it for the first 2 periods of action. After 2, the score 2-1. The LaSalle Academy Rams lead the Mount St. Charles Mounties here in this one. It's been a great back and forth by both sides. We're seeing a very competitive game tonight. And it's going to come down to the wire without a doubt, ladies and gentlemen. Can't wait to see how this one finishes out, but we'll take a moment to let the Zamboni resurface the ice and work its magic And we'll be back for the start of the third period. LaSalle Academy Rams leading the Mount St. Charles Mounties by a score of 2-1 after 2 periods. Be back in just a moment. And oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
And oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
And oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
And oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
And oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
And oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
And oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
post, score!
First right kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
In, fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First right kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
In, fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First right kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
In, fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First right kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
In, fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First right kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
In, fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First right kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
In, fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First right kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
And welcome back for the start of the third period, ladies and gentlemen. Score 2-1. The LaSalle Rams leading the Mount St. Charles Mounties. Only one will walk away with the victory, and we will see who will be the victor. Carroll takes it off the face-off. The Mounties are still short-handed from last period off the power play as it's dumped back the other way. Carroll on the near side. Lombari ready to come back in, and the Mounties are back to full strength. Lombari has a chance to break away. Lombari for Teskey gets in defensively to shut it down on the breakaway try. Wow, just a great effort by the Rams defense. This one dumped into the corner. Wrapped around to that near side for Teskey. A hard hit there on Smolin. And now rifled up to center. Smolin retreating for it. Dumps it past Bradley. And we'll get an icing call and do it all over again. Quarterfinal matchups on Fans Only Sports Network are brought to you in part by Ray's Hockey Shop in Smithfield, Rhode Island. Call 401-231-1995 or go to ray@rayshockey.com for all your hockey needs. Premier Homes Realty in Cranston, Rhode Island. Stephanie Sosha can help you with your home today. In the business for over 20 years, even has reach in Massachusetts. One phone call away at 401-742-8971. And by our Elite Recruits. Back of the net, shot, score, right from the slot, Cam Tasca! A beautiful pass right into the center lane slot. The Rams find themselves up by a 2-goal advantage. Wow, what a way to start off the third period. Only a minute and 6 seconds in, and the Rams find themselves back on top. And our final sponsor at RR Elite Recruits. Go to rreliterecruits.com and get access to 3,000 schools and 60,000 coaches across multiple NCAA sports. Also have club hockey and prep academy teams to our list. Fill out an athlete submission form today at rreliterecruits.com. That's the word from today's game sponsors. Taken around the backside of that is Brown. And a lead in front. Martinelli treks it into the zone. Behind the back was Brown in that corner. Pushed around the backside of the cage. And now taken up front by Lawrence. Poked back off of Bogosian. Franco traps it up against the board. A back and forth effort. And Souza. This one dumped all the way down. And we'll get a whistle for icing with 12:41 to go. Mounties were making this game look interesting as they did not have the affair up at one apiece, but LaSalle with back-to-back goals has given themselves the chance to walk away with the victory and close out the series tonight. Now up 3-1. Bradley, he'll dump it back down, that time for Murphy. On the backboards, Seamus Murphy. Trying to set it up in front, past Slack on the far board. Lombari chucks it back to center. Garfalo to retreat for it. And he'll dump it around to the near side. Stopped on that end that time by the 19 of Murphy. Mora trying to lead it past Murphy as Souza's stick interfered with the direction of the puck. And on the far end, Healy. This one over the top of the cage. Now to the near side. And poke back the opposite way. No, still right in front of the visiting bench. And a back and forth. And this one goes into the penalty box. We'll stop play. So the Rams can once again punch their ticket to the semifinals with a win tonight. Is this one sent back the other way? Carroll being pushed off the mark. It's pushed around to the far side. Maxwell Rusov has it taken away by Martinelli. And Smolin stopped at the blue line. The Mounties get back on side as the puck's pushed back into their own end. That time it was Santos trying to get in on the play. And this one off of Hannah's pad. Frateski off to the left. And shuffled in front of the net, but taken away by Rusov. Rusov through center. It's dumped away, and Pacheco has it. Through center, Santos. Blake Santos. He'll dump it the opposite way. And now Smolin. He'll dump it in again into the zone. Wrapped around to that far end now as Baxter will take it. And now for Teske. It's bounced off the glass. Souza playing some keep away here, getting it to Smolin. Mounties with not much time. Peterson intercepting the pass in the zone off the forecheck. Baxter with it off of Hannah. Deflected to the right side. Mora dumps it around the near side. Peterson trying to push the puck loose as it's displaced. Trying to kick it loose. They finally do. The Rams have it. Bogosian at the blue line, mishandling it. Smolin with a good tie-up. Lawrence feeding Smolin, and it was under the stick. A hard hit there from Mora. Wow, Tasca taking it across. Onside. It's dumped in by Bogosian. Souza off the near side glass. And it's dumped back in one more time. Potter. Lead to center for Teske. Right at Hannah, kept in play. And trying to set it up in front. The lead that time. Lombari to center. Hard hit on Tomka. Lombari back in the net. Shot, score! An absolute laser for the Mounties! Down but not out. Antonio Lombari brings the score back within one as he sent an absolute laser on the glove side of Caleb Johorjan to bring the Mounties back within one. Score now 3-2. Just an absolutely amazing game we are witnessing tonight so far. The Mounties being down several times, they will not go down easy, and we'll face off and do it all over again at center. Frateski with it here off the face-off. Trying to dump it to center. It's backhanded toward Johorjan with the save as it nearly found the back of the net again. On the near side. Puck shuffled loose. as Carroll tries to keep it in the center. Bradley dumps it to the neutral floor. Slack will dump it in. Garfalo. Tyler Garfalo behind the back that time for Frateski. On the near side. Dumped up to Healy at center. Oh, nearly knocked into the bench. Healy has to battle against Smolin. Smolin takes it away and dumps it to the near side. Bogosian sends it down. Displaced puck finds a home in the clutches of Gregory Petit. Lefebvre getting tied up there behind the cage. Petit looking for a man. Lefebvre! Shot score! Shot score! The Mounties have tied it up! Maxwell Rusov and the Mount St. Charles Mounties have worked their magic and tied the game up at 3-all. Wow. Absolutely stunned right here, and the crowd is really getting into it. The momentum shifting in a total opposite direction that we expected. And the Mounties now are in the driver's seat. Dumped in by Baxter. Souza to meet it on the back end. And Baxter sends it the other way. Peterson. Tasca to that far end. Peterson hits Mora. That one off the glass to the near side. Trying to gain the zone on Frateski. Smolin crossing it to Lawrence, and he couldn't finish the one-timer. Just a great setup right there. Here come the Rams. Tasca to Baxter. Tasca back to Baxter, and there wasn't enough separation to get the advantage. Smolin, whistle, play dead. And it looks like we may have an offsides. Under 8 minutes to go, and we could be very well heading to overtime as we're back in action. Poked free as Franco tries to lead it. Carroll bouncing it off the near side board. And here comes Murray. Nate Murray bouncing it off the defenders. Right in front, Labari. Ooh, wide right of the net, but it had a lot of spin on it. And it comes back to the near side. And we get a whistle. And we'll face off on that right-hand side. 7:18 to go in the third period. And we're all tied up at 3. This one coming right in front of the net. Oh, my goodness. Somehow Murray couldn't find the back door. This one going the other way. Carroll. It's pushed away from Bradley. Carroll pushing it up to center. Martinelli. Marciello Martinelli. At center, Slack, Healy, Martinelli. Martinelli with it. That time to Garfalo. Trying to lead Bradley a bit there. And Hanna will make the wise decision to stop the play with 6:47 to go. It is anybody's game now at this point, ladies and gentlemen. The Mounties could potentially pull off the unthinkable and push a Game 3 in the series if they can etch out a win tonight. On the face-off, Frateski sends this one down wide right of the net. Hanna, he'll stop the play. Around the backside to the near. Taking it down front of the bench. Frateski on the backside, trying to play some keep away. Getting it over to Baxter. The Mounties starting to play very aggressive at this point. Dumas or Souza to center. Bogosian kicked away. We got a delayed penalty coming. Arms in the air, and there's the whistle. A slash going to be called. And the two of Harrison Dumas is going to hit the penalty box. Definitely not the result that this team was looking for, especially after tying the game up with 6:10 to go. The potential for spoils is up in the air now as the Rams have a power play advantage. Garfalo meant to dump it down to Tasca and let him too much. The Mounties get a much-needed clear. Garfalo. Tyler Garfalo crossing the blue line. Garfalo sends one off of Hannah, still in play, to the right side of the net. Cutting it down. Lombari trying to get in there. This one to Garfalo at the blue line. Tipped at the blue line by the defense, and Slack sends it right at Georgian. Oh, a lot of spin on that shot. Martinelli. Marcielo Martinelli as the puck pulled away. Smolin to Carroll. Now to Lefebvre. And puck pushed back to center. Smolin trying to get on top of it to gain the advantage. Smolin losing control of the puck. He's pushed to the floor. Under a minute to go on the power play. And this one into the midst of Georgian off of Lefebvre's shot with 5:01 to go, 51 seconds to go on the power play. At the face-off. This one trying to lead Tomka. Tomka! Back of the net! Score! The Rams retake the lead late in the game! It's a power play goal for Bowden Tomka. And the LaSalle Rams find themselves back on top once again with 4:52 to go in the third. Just when you thought this game might escape them, they somehow find a way to retake the lead. Referees discussing this over at center ice, however. And there is going to be a hooking call on top of that. But the goal will stand. I believe there's some confusion out here. So Connor Souza, or Cam Souza, excuse me, will hit the penalty box for a hook. So the Rams will go on another power play with 4:52 to go. And this is not what the Mounties needed, especially after tying things up to potentially push a game 3. Rams looking to shut the door on that equation. Slack right off the faceoff. Slack on the left side. This one bounced off of Georgian behind the cage. Frateski. Mark Frateski. Giving it off to Baxter. Now Bradley. Big tree Bradley right off of Hannah. Out of play. Not much time remains, and the Mounties very soon, after this penalty expires, are probably going to have to consider when they're going to pull Dylan Hanna on that near side. Lefebvre taken away by Healy. Bradley with it now for the Rams. Over to Frateski, a perfect 5-hole. He went 2 underneath, and the puck's still active, still on the floor. Excuse me, on the near side. And taken around the back side. Frateski cuts the opposite way. Frateski to Bradley. Bradley rifles this one down. It goes high in the air, and it's deflected back into the play. Tomka gets it to Healy. Up against the board. Lefebvre. And trying to clear it to center. Baxter will trap it down. Baxter off the glove. Bradley off the rebound. Healy again. And ultimately stopped as the net came off the moorings. .47 seconds to go on the power play. The Mounties need to hold on for dear life. Over to Martinelli. Martinelli with the wind-up, deflected off to the near side. Garfalo shuffles it back down. This one coming all the way down back to Georgian. Garfalo, that was dangerous positioning. Nearly a chance for Lombardi to get set. Try and play some keep away. Slack! It bounced back in! And again! Oh my goodness! It hit the post and came right back out. The second time that's happened tonight here, ladies and gentlemen, and the second one over the top. Oh my goodness. Nearly could have found ourselves in another tie game. Peterson, this shot deflected away by Hanna. Trying to feed it in front. Lombardi getting it back to center. Slack getting tied up. Souza back on the floor. Georgian comes out of the cage. Slack, there's an empty net. Georgian, what is going on here? What is going on here? My goodness. Oh my God. Crazy, crazy set of events to finish things off here. Georgian came all the way out of the cage to move the puck loose, and Slack came in right on top. The whole net was exposed. Fortunate enough, the Rams defense there to play protection, but wow. And officials going to talk things over with the Mount bench. .243 to go in the third. Mount prepping to pull Dylan Hanna soon. And the face-off to the near side. Bradley all the way underneath, nearly taken away, and offside's the call. Carroll with the takeaway on the face-off at center. This one's poked back and forth. And we get another whistle. This one shuffled back to the blue line. Smolin dumps it away. And Lombari in the corner. Mora behind the cage. Mora. That time intended for Bogosian. Lombari, this one wide of the net. No signal yet from the Mount bench. 2 minutes to go. Smolin. Nate Murray. And blocked by Frateski. Anna coming out of the box a little bit. This one sent behind the cage. Murphy with it here. Seamus Murphy and Bradley. Bradley trying to gain the advantage of the zone. Murphy trying to play keep away to kill this clock off more. Under a minute and a half to go now. At the blue line. Bradley extending for it. Bradley, center lane, slow. Shot, score! Shot, score! That should be the final nail in the coffin as Vinny Healy puts up goal number 5 for LaSalle. With only a minute 20 to go, the Rams may have just punched their ticket to the semifinals. Timeout called on the floor. We'll step aside as the LaSalle Rams lead the Mount St. Charles Mounties by a score of 5-3 with only 1:20 to go in the third. Back in just a moment for the conclusion of this one. The ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Dustin fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First try to kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
The ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Dustin fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
First try to kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
A minute and 20 to go. The crowd has gotten loud here with not much time left. 6 men on the ice for Mount. This one goes past Johorgian. Lefebvre with the takeaway and the whistle. We're going to have a penalty. Interference called against LaSalle. So that puts Mark Frateski in the box. So now it will be a 6-on-4 in the LaSalle end of the ice. The Mounties have time, but not much left to try and bring this one back within a score. They need to act quickly in order to tie things up. Time is the enemy. Taken at the faceoff dot. Lombari off of the defender. Lombari scrambles to the corner for the puck. Lombari right in front, slack, puck still loose. And Johorgian extends to make the save with 1:01 to go. Puck right in front. Johorgian on the ground somehow got it back in his mitts again with 58 seconds to go. Wow. Just an absolute crazy back and forth throughout. Poked back up towards the blue line. Lawrence, Georgian with the stop. Far end. Slack. Healy. Healy dumps it to center. The Mounties need to get back onside. Lombari takes it across the blue line safely. Lombari feeds it to Smolin. Smolin downhill. Behind the net, Slack. Carroll. Back to the near side. Time running out with 30 seconds to go. Lombari with the dump in. Trying to set it up in front. The net came loose, and it's dumped away. Empty netter shot, score! Ronan Peterson hits goal number 6 of the night, and that'll do it for the Rams. They will be heading to the state semifinals next week at Schneider Arena. And we'll face off at center for the remaining 20-some-odd seconds of this one as Lawrence takes it across for one last time here. Chance in front, knocked away, sent back in the opposite direction, all the way downhill as it's cleared. Smolin will take it back out, dumping it all the way down to Georgian. And as time runs out here, the LaSalle Rams have punched their ticket to the state semifinals. 6-3, your final from Adelard Arena here at Mount St. Charles Academy, as the LaSalle Academy Rams take down the Mount St. Charles Mounties in a thrilling quarterfinal series. They sweep the series 2-0. For the Mounties, it was definitely a very tough season for them. They battled hard, a great play-in game in order to punch their ticket here in the to the quarterfinals, and they did everything they could, especially after battling a tough loss last night. They kept it close, but at the end of the day, the LaSalle Rams proved they were the better unit of the two. A very hard-fought game by both sides and an excellent show tonight. We thank you all for tuning into the state quarterfinal series here on Fans Only Sports Network. We wish we could be with you there for the semifinals and the state finals. But more hockey to come down the road potentially. But that will do it for us and for me. I want to thank the LaSalle Rams once again for letting me be the voice of their team once again for a second straight year. And I look forward to seeing how they perform in the postseason this year. Thank you all for tuning into the matchup tonight, ladies and gentlemen. This is Chris Hitu signing off for one final time here in the 2022-2023 Rhode Island Interscholastic League hockey season. We'll catch you all next time. But until then, this is Chris Hitu signing off from Fans Only Sports Network.